So let me share my screen. So just a recap from what we did in our previous class. So we tried to understand what is Hibernate, why do Hibernate required, and then as part of the basics of Hibernate, we need to have the simple object model, which is nothing but the database tables need to be defined. So we created a table and we need to define a POJO class. Yes, we did that. Then XML mapping file, which is helpful for defining the object relational mapping. But instead of XML mapping file, we were using the annotations there, like @entity, @table, all those annotations. Then we tried to execute the very basic CRUD operations there, right? So this is how the simple object model. In case if you are dealing with writer table, story table, so we are going there. So once moving forward, to start working with one-to-many relationships, many-to-one relationships, or many-to-many, all such things, we need to have the parent-child tables, which are going to be look like this, right? Then the POJO classes needed for every table, so that also we did. So we defined the POJO classes, and every POJO class is defined with an appropriate annotation there. That also we did. And then XML mapping files, taking writer.hbm.xml, story.hbm.xml. So we tried to avoid this part. So where in Hibernate mapping you can write class name and the table to whom which table you are trying to mapping it for, right? Then ID, like @ID we were using for any primary key columns. So how the values need to be generated, they need to be automatically incremented for every new row when you are trying to insert, right? Any setters, getters, any properties you wanted to define by using @column. So that way we tried to avoid the usage of this HBM XML, and we took all that with the help of our annotations. Then whenever you wanted to create a new object, so the basic thing that is required for you is having a session factory. So without session factory you can't do anything. So have a session factory. So to bring that session factory you need to have the configuration .configure.build session factory. Then once you get the session factory, get the session, then begin the transaction. So that way you are going to do the things. So we'll do them now today. How do we create a new row, all that. So deletion, updation, all these CRUD operations, remaining CRUD operations we'll try to execute them. So any of these basic CRUD operations we want to work with. So the 4 core interfaces that we need to be aware of. One is the configuration, then the session factory, then session, then transaction. So all these things are available under org.hibernate package for us, right? Then this configuration object is the one which will be created by invoking the no-arg constructor of your configuration. So when you say new configuration, it is going to create you that file, and when it is getting created, it will be looking for a file called hibernate.properties file, which is not mandatory. If this hibernate.properties file is available in the class path of your project, then it tries to load all those properties of the configuration. If it is not available, then it will be just simply creating an empty configuration object for us, right? So what we did, so we did not have any Hibernate properties file. So we have not defined any Hibernate.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I can't see the presentation here. Do you share?
Oh.
Yeah, even as Srikan, you can't see it. So.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, sir.
No problem. Okay, so this PDF is already uploaded over there.
Yeah,
I mean the Hibernate 1 PDF it is.
Yeah, Hibernate, yeah.
So this is what I am talking about.
Oh, okay.
Right. So these are the 4.
I thought we have some problem with us.
No,
Okay, sir.
no problem. No problem. Thanks for
Thank you.
letting me know. Otherwise, I would have gone blindly without any screen sharing.
No. Thank you.
Right. So configuration, session factory, session and transaction are the four core interfaces needed to work with Hibernate. So configuration object, we are creating it by instantiating configuration, and whenever it gets instantiated, it looks for the hibernate.properties file, and that .properties file should be defined with all those key value parameters like this. But in our case, we did not define this one. Instead of defining hibernate.properties file, what we did? We did hibernate.cfg.xml file, right? So that hibernate.cfg.xml file is the one which will get invoked, which will get executed whenever you are invoking this method. Configuration.configure method we are invoking. So if you refer hibernate util.java program which you wrote earlier in your previous class, right? So inside that util program, you are creating the configuration object and you are going to invoke this configure method. So whenever this configure method is called, it looks for a file called hibernate.cfg.xml. So inside that hibernate.cfg.xml file, it is defined with all those properties whatever you would like to define. And in addition to that, you also need to define the mapping files. So what are the mapping files we need to load when the configuration should get loaded. So that is what we did. So inside our hibernate.cfg.xml, we define all those DB connection properties, like property name, which URL it should be, which username, which password, right? So all the values we defined there. In case similarly mapping files, so any Hibernate mapping files exclusively defined in terms of XMLs. If not, mapping files are defined in XML forms, then we are just trying to load those classes. Mapping class equal to com.training.contact you mentioned. So that way you will be able to load the corresponding classes as part of your mapping elements of the Hibernate configuration settings, right? So that way, whenever you are invoking the connection.configure method, this file will be reading and it makes all those properties available there, right? So once the configuration object is ready, then we will be able to get this session factory object. So that is what we are doing in that Hibernate util. And once you get this session factory, so there will be only one session factory per project, but the sessions could be multiple. So once you get the session factory, then one single unit of work will be operated through a session. So that session object will be able to get it by using your session factory dot open session. So this is how it looks like, a typical code line. So CFG is your configuration object, factory is your session factory object, then saying factory dot open session that returns you the session object, right? So this way we will be able to get the session. So once we get the session, then we need to operate a series of operations. So the series of operations are nothing but any DB operations, like I want to create some new rows into the table, I want to update, I want to delete. So some operations that are going to affect against my database table. So all those things I want to operate them as one single unit, that would be my transaction. So that at the end I can commit my transaction or I can cancel my transaction, or I can roll back my transaction if I decided that I do not want to save all these changes onto my DB, or if some error occurred during the execution of those series of statements, series of operations, then I want to roll back my transaction. So this way we'll be able to operate sessions, transactions, all these things, right? So that is what we are going to do now. Then in detail means HPL is the one, criteria is the one, SQL PLSQL programming. So all these things are going to come one after the other. So not only theoretically, but we will see them practically. How do we work with these HQL operations, criteria API, like session.create query, session.create criteria. Going forward, we'll be working with all these things. And this PDF is already shared with you so that you can walk through this PDF and you can visit these URLs which are kept at the end of that PDF, so that read some beautiful query and also try to go through this hands-on experience with Hibernate for the beginners, right? So just take a look at these things and try to understand them. And while practicing, if you get any doubts, don't hesitate to shoot me an email. I'll try to respond at the earliest. Right, so that is about that PDF. Then let us complete the CRUD operation. So we just try to execute the data retrieval. Now we will try to complete the remaining operations there. So we were trying to write a contact CRUD program which was retrieving the data. So as a result, it is processing the select statement and is printing whatever the contact rows that are already available in our database table, right? So that is what we did. Now we'll try to insert the new data, new row into that contact table. So Josna, are we working on your machine or Shikanya machine? Not sure, I cannot remember.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Shikanya?
Yes.
Yeah. Let us continue from there. So let me make Shikanya the presenter. Shikanya, you are the presenter. Please share your screen. Yes. And go to Eclipse. Okay. So I want you to add this one line of code before line 13. Who is the other guy joined whose name is not shown? It says waiting for name. Can you please rename your name? Yeah, before line 13 you can paste this one line of code. So we will try to insert a new contact which is going to return as the contact ID value. Right? Keep the cursor there. Oh, Pasha. How are you, Pasha? You missed the first class, but please go through that video, right? So you'll be able to understand and get ready with your setup of Hibernate, all that, right? So that we'll do the next demo on your box. Okay, right. Yeah, create that method, insert contact. Okay, so here we will try to create this new contact object and we will be trying to insert that value into our database. So copy all these lines of code by deleting line 20 and 21. First delete 20 and 21, Control D you can press twice. Each Control D will be deleting a line of code. Yeah, copy the lines of code from your chart window, starting from integer variable contact ID initialized with null, and also transaction is initialized with null. Press Ctrl Shift F. Yeah, first of all, import the things, press Ctrl Shift O. So transaction is required. It should be from org.hibernate.transaction, java.util.date, right? Yeah, contact Pojo. In your case, it is small Pojo, right? Perfect. So do that. Okay. So here if you observe line 24 is a transaction object which is initialized with null. Then we started writing a try block wherein we wanted to begin our transaction we said transaction equal to session dot begin transaction, means a new transaction will be started, right? Then we are instantiating our contact Pojo, and for that contact Pojo we are setting some values like set first name. I mean, we are invoking all those setter methods. Set first name, set last name, set DOB, set email, set mobile. Then we are trying to save this contact object through our session object. So session object is there before the main method. We are using the save method of that. So while retrieving the data, we said session.createQuery.list, but this time we want to save this data. So we are using session.save on line number 33. So it will be saving that contact object into the table, and whatever the primary key value that gets generated, that will be the contact ID. We are not inserting that contact ID, that should be automatically generated, and that value will be returned to us. And then we will be committing the transaction. So in case if any exception will arise, there is a catch block defined for that, Hibernate exception. If transaction is not equal to null, then we will be rolling back that transaction. And we are trying to print the complete stack trace of that exception. And after your try and catch block, we are trying to return that contact value, whatever got generated automatically, right? So save this one, and before we run this one, we need to make few more changes in our hibernate.cfg.xml. So go to hibernate.cfg.xml. I think you need to add one property there, which should be automatically getting updated for the value that need to be generated for our primary key value. So it is a new property that you need to declare there. Copy this property and paste it after line 12. So this property is known as Hibernate2 means data definition language. So it should create a sequence object for us, and that sequence object will be utilized to generate the automatic values for all our tables primary key columns. Right, save this. Now you can go back to your contact CRUD program and try to run that. Make your console little bigger. You can see that still contact Pojo 1 and 2. Contact ID 1, contact ID 2 is getting printed. So a lot of errors. So you can see the error caused by error duplicate key value violates unique constraint contact PK. Means contact primary key value is getting violated there. The detail, the next line it shows, key contact ID equal to 1 already exists. So contact ID already 1 is existing there. Means after you configuring that property called hbm2ddl.auto, it starts generating the values starting from 1. Right? So contact ID 1 is already existing, hence it is getting violated. Right? So if you run the program again, so it will generate the next value, means automatically it gets updated from 1 to 2. So contact ID 2 is also available, so next time also it will be failing. Right? So try to run this one. Try to run the same program again. This time also you should get the error. It should be displaying you contact ID 1 and 2 only. So you can observe that all those red lines of code, if you observe by maximizing your console, yeah, contact ID 2 already exists. So can you scroll little up? It will show you how it is trying to generate. So it starts generating the values from 1, all that. Scroll little up, and even you can go back to your table your PG admin, there also you can see that who is generating these values. A new table would have been created in your PostGRE SQL server. See there. Black lines, can you see? It is running HBM to DDL schema update. It says select next val. Yeah, go to PG admin, there you can see that. Maximize this PG admin 3 screen. Go to schemas. Expand the schemas, expand public schema. Go to tables. Expand. There are 4 tables. Can you see contact table, search engine table, student table, student info. Sequences, can you observe that? There is one sequence got created. Yeah, it is not table, it is a sequence. You can see that Hibernate sequence. Did we create this sequence inside PostGRE? No. It has got created through Hibernate. So this Hibernate sequence value starts its generation from the value 1, and that value is applied against your contact table to give the value for that contact ID. So it starts generated with 1 and then 2. So both the values were already existing, hence it got violating the primary key constraint there. Hence it could not insert any data there. Right? Now go back to your Eclipse. You can rerun your program. This time you can see that it is going to generate a new value which will be 3. So the value 3 should be inserted with the contact POJO details like set first name, last name, all that you tried here. Afsar Basha, he should get inserted there. Oops, JVM launcher exception came. Wait, don't run again and again. So the program is not terminated. Click that red button first. Okay, again run. Connection attempt is failed. Oops, click OK. Come back to your PostGRE SQL because that Hibernate sequences is kept open there, right? So close that one and click the public, minimize that public thing and click on MyDB. Right. Now go back and terminate that console, because if the object is kept open in its database server, it will not be able to generate. It assumes that it is utilized for some other purpose, so that's why it kept open. If it is giving error again, then we need to close the pgadmin3 and then run the program. Run it. Run this time. Let's see. There you go. Right. So it has inserted the value. So you can see that insert statement got executed after generating the next value from your Hibernate underscore sequence. Right. And it is doing the data retrieval also. Means it is executing both the methods. Insert contact is executed and then get all contacts is also executed, wherein it is processing your select query and then it is listing you all those 3 rows of data from that contact table with contact ID 1, right, it's me, then contact ID 2, it's my elder one, then contact ID 3, it's my younger one, right. So just go there to your database and verify that all those 3 rows of data is there in the table or not. You can open your SQL editor and then you can write a statement, select a star from table name. Run that, or you can press F5. F5 key is also meant for executing. Yes. Right, you can see all these 3 records, all these 3 rows of data in the table, right? So that's how we need to work with that. Clear? So we have seen how the data that gets inserted into the table. Then let's say we wanted to modify an existing row of the contact table. Let's do that. So just go back to your Eclipse, go to that contact CRUD program, go to the main method, comment line 16, comment that line 16, then copy these 3 lines of code after line 16. So I just wanted to display the details before updating and then update the first name. Then again let's see the details of it after the updation. Okay. So create that get contact method, get contact of 2. So I want to get the contact details of the contact ID 2. Right? Then I would like to update it. Yeah, create those 2 methods, get contact and then update contact. Okay, copy these lines of code inside your what we call get contact first. So we wanted to read the data of that contact whose ID is 2. So based on the given primary key value, when you wanted to read the data, yeah, go to the line variable, line number 30 and modify that variable I as ID. And make it ID. Right. So based on the given ID, you are retrieving the data using session.get method. Right? So session.get is taking your contact Pojo class comma ID and it retrieves you the data for you. If that contact object is not equal to null, print that. Otherwise display the message saying that there is no contact is existing with this ID. Press Ctrl Shift F. Save this for now and try to run this. So update contact is not yet ready now. So it should be same. Get contact 2 should give you the same output 2 times because you are calling that get contact 2 for 2 times. Yeah, you need to close the table. The table is kept open there, right? So when you are go to pgadmin and close them. Close that query window. Yeah. Run the program again. You can see that yeah, get all contacts is also getting executed, right? So comment line 20. comment line 20. Right. Now press Ctrl Shift F and run that. Run it again. So it should be showing you that contact Pojo object of the given ID 2, which is nothing but Arshad is his first name. Last name is Basha. So on line 18, I would like to update the first name as Muhammad Arshad. Right? So let us do the lines of code inside that update contact. So updating means what? That modification to be happened against my table. So obviously a transaction is needed. So that transaction need to get committed at the end. Hence the lines of code should be like this. So copy all these lines of code there. So we are getting contact Pojo. Copy these lines. Starting from transaction. So we said transaction equal to null. Press Ctrl Shift F. Go to line 25. Int ID, comma, string first name. First name. Perfect. Save this. So line number 26 is transaction null. So inside the try block we said begin transaction, and then we are retrieving the data of the given ID by using session.get method. That gives me the contact object. So for that given contact object we will be invoking the set first name method and passing the first name value whatever you are passing there at line 18. Then we will be using session.update contact. Then this data updation should be committed back onto the database. So we will say transaction.commit. So if any exception occurs, roll back the transaction. So no need to return any value because this update contact method is meant for returning void. Right? Save this. And then this time try to run this. So if you run the program, it should show you before update it should be Arshad is the first name. After update it should become Muhammad Arshad. Right? So let's verify that whether it is updated or not. On your console, can you see that contact ID 2 before update? First name equal to Arshad. Can you select that? Yes, that is before update. After update is the below one. First name equal to Muhammad Arshad. Right? You wanted to verify that even in your database, you can go to the SQL editor and you can verify that. Select star from contact. Right? You can see that contact ID 2 is its first name is updated there. The updated record is pushed to the bottom of the table. Clear? So this is how we'll be working with this data updation. Then one more operation, data deletion. So how can we delete it? Okay. So select those three lines and comment them in main method. I mean line 17, 18, 19. Select those three lines and press Ctrl F7. 17, 18, 19. Okay. Then after line 20, paste these three lines. Or after line 19, you can paste them. So I wanted to retrieve the data of contact ID 1. So get contact. Yes, we have that get contact method already there. And then before deleting, I want to display the details, and after deleting also once again I want to invoke that get contact. Yeah, create that method delete contact and then press Ctrl Shift F. So what should be there inside the delete contact? So once again there should be session. So you can copy the lines of code. Can you go there to your update method? Copy from line 33 to 45 and paste it inside line at line 29. You can paste it. You can delete that commented line if you want. Right, you can mark the variable input variable as int id at line 28. Then delete line 33, Control D on that. Then it should not be session.update, it should be session.delete. We need to delete that contact. Say session.delete of contact. Right, save this. So this will be deleting the data against my table for the given ID. Right, that's all. Save this, run this. Let's retrieve the data of that contact ID 1 before deleting and after deleting. Let's see what it displays on my console. So before deleting, contact Pojo, contact ID 1, first name Amjad, last name Basha, all the details are printed. Can you select that? Before the delete statement, contact details are printed. Right, that one. Yes. Then it has deleted that contact. Then we are trying to retrieve the data of that contact ID 1. So what it is displaying? It says no contact exists with ID 1. Right? So ID 1 is not visible. Right? So if you want to verify, go there in your SQL editor of the PG admin and run your program, run your select query there. You will see only contact ID 2 and 3. No more contact ID 1. It is deleted. Right? There you go. So this is how we'll be able to perform these CRUD operations. Any questions? Right? So now I want you to give you an exercise to do something on your own. Create a table of your own. Any table of your choice, however you would like to create. Create a table of all your courses or create a table of all the universities in your state or in your country, whatever. Right? So some information, try to take one table, one single table and try to write a Pojo and then try to map that Pojo class to the respective table and the properties of that table, that Pojo to the respective columns of the table and then perform one program, one simple program, a similar program there as that of this contact. Can you do that? So I want you to do that exercise before we proceed further. Right? So tomorrow we'll see all the mappings like one to many, how we will perform, many to one, how we will perform, many to many, how do we perform. Right? So that's how we'll take a look at. But please do that exercise what I am asking you guys. Right? So that way you'll be able to gain a kind of confidence. Will you do that? So spend It doesn't take much time because you have the complete core knowledge with you. So try to give a time of 1 hour maximum. I am talking. Maybe you can finish it within half an hour. Right? So try to write the whole thing by understanding in your own terms. So what are the methods we use so far? Session.create query, then session.get, session.update, session.save, session.delete. So these are the 5 methods we have used so far to perform all these CRUD operations. Right? So try to create one table of your own. Any table, any columns, whatever you want to do, try to do. Right? Okay? So that's all for now. So we'll stop here for today. Right? So just continue with now itself by allocating 1 hour of time if you have. But otherwise, at least try to complete it overnight so that you can share it tomorrow. So that we'll walk through whoever is going to do that. Right? So I'll be uploading this MP4 also into your shared folder, which is a continuation of our previous class. Alright? So that's all guys. That's all for now. Any questions? Any doubts? Please download the files from your this thing. So because my uh, drive is reaching its maximum limit, I need to remove a couple of things. Right? So please download them as soon as it is uploaded over there. Okay, that's all guys. That's all for now. See you tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll try to understand all those Hibernate mapping things. Okay. Thank you. So if you don't have any questions, I'm terminating the meeting now. Thank you, Shikanya. Thanks for sharing the screen and demonstrating all this. Okay. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow.